Hello, everybody. Tom Wambeke here again for our weekly introduction in the ongoing e-learning at UNOC course. And seeing from the amount of forum posts, we are getting really on speed, which is a good sign, I think. Very important, you have submitted your e-learning projects, which we are currently revising, and I know that the time span was very short to come up with a fully fledged project, but knowing this cartoon here, it's quite important from the scratch already to think what will be our project or product or service design will be. And it will be iterative in a sense that the document that you have submitted throughout the different teams that we will work on in the next weeks, we will revise, readjust, and re-add elements in the project, and also based on the feedback and the input that you will get from your coaches, because how you originally wanted your idea is probably understood by the different team members in different ways. Your final beneficiary might have also another idea with it. The coaches also have different ways of approaching it, so you see here all the different elements, and maybe the project was not yet documented, so we started to go. You will have to inform also IT and so on. You'll see all different kinds of viewpoints that not necessarily are aligned, and that's the idea of that. We will try to align the project document as we go. The next week, the third week, is basically working on learning theories and instructional design. And again, we will work in 3 different blocks. One of the first elements that I will ask to you is, you're designing a project, an e-learning project, a service, a product, whatever your idea is. You design that for somebody, for a final beneficiary, a client, a partner, a participant, whatever your target audience is. And one of the major mistakes that we always make is that we start to design and develop from our own perspective on how we think we should shape the project, whether it's an e-learning course or anything else. So one of the first exercises we will do next week is we'll hand over a tool to you, which is called the empathy map, which is coming from the design thinking world. And we invite that your project group dives a little bit deeper into the stakeholder perspective. You have to name for who are you developing the project, and through different angles try to capture how this person or how this group thinks and feels, and try to capture that through statements and through descriptions. How is your current target group seeing the reality that they have in front of them? What are they currently saying and doing? What are they currently hearing? Through different angles we try to capture better the way the target audience thinks, feels, hears and says and do things. This will give us quite a lot of interesting information, and not just, let's say, a very synoptic, let's say, or very cryptic description of your target audience. It also gives you deeper insight what are the current, let's say, frustrations, pains, fears and challenges of your target group, and also the potential gains and benefits that could come out of your project. What we invite, use this tool, try with Post-its or with another tool to get deeper insights in your target audience. Try to empathize them, try to put the perspective of the stakeholder in front of you. And that maybe also will help also the future direction of your project. As I've said, sometimes we look too much with our own perspective to the project. It helps once in a while to put you in the shoes of the final beneficiary. And empathy maps are excellent tools in order to do that. Then what we're basically concentrating on in learning theories and instructional design, we need a kind of a model, an instructional design model, pedagogical model that will help us to give direction, to give strategy, to give guidelines to us. So that in your project proposal you can also adapt that a little bit more. One of the issues that we have in instructional design models, there are about more than 1,000 models out there. A lot of them are variations, you probably have seen this before, of the famous abbreviation, the ADDIE, the Analysis, Design, Development, Implementation and Evaluation cycle. And what we have done is we selected a few of them, and they all have different angles. They're basically all variations of this quite common cycle. And what we would like you to do is basically to answer in the forum, what does instructional design mean for you? You have also the FAO manual, which we indicated the pages that you can refer to and look in their instructional cycle. You could use instructional cycles that we have given in the platform. You could also come up with your own instructional cycle that has been your guideline in the courses that you're currently developing. It's very important that you're able to formulate your own instructional strategy, your own instructional design. We're not prescriptive of what will be the best model to follow. We just want first a discussion on what models are you already using, what models do you find inspiring, and what is your vision on that. That will be one of the first interesting discussions we will have during this first week. And then after that we'll move in a third element, and we think, well, apart from the 1,000 different models that are out there, there's a kind of pragmatic approach rising out in the e-learning discipline, and they quickly summarize that with the terminology design thinking, which also follows a type of cycle. And what we want to learn from that design thinking is, well, they use sometimes tools that are very practical to shape our e-learning projects. I already made reference to the empathy map. It's a very typical design tool to get to know your target audience. Through the references and the content that we offer you in the design thinking session, we invite you also to think maybe there are more similar tools that you can use in order to capture better the needs of your target audience, in order to come up with the first, let's say, prototype based on some of the indications that the design strategy is giving us. So we will ask you also very specific questions on that angle. These three elements are going to be, let's say, the most important things we will do in this week. I'll quickly recap that one. Of course, get to know our target audience better through the empathy map. Choose an instructional design model that is fit for purpose and also feed into your project proposal. And last but not least, explore what design thinking could mean for an e-learning project. And with this, we hope that we have a little bit more models and strategies that will guide us in the upcoming weeks when we move to the other topics. So that's it for today's session. We will be active again through the social and technical forum. We also will allocate different coaches to the different projects so that we start to work very concretely on what is needed in UNOC itself. I'll keep it with this. If you have additional questions, feel free to ask me.